Thursday's special ESPN card in memory of the late Dan Goossen looks a whole lot like one of the cards the Goossen family would have put on back in the early 90s. The bill is stacked not just with big names, but with some of those big names in some competitive fights as well. Former junior middleweight titleist Austin Trout will headline the night against Luis Grajeda as he tries to erase the memory of his losses to Canelo Alvarez and Erislandy Lara, but more recently, an extremely shaky performance against Daniel Dawson. Especially if he performs the way he did in the early stages against Dawson, he won't have a complete cakewalk in Grajeda, who is a tall junior middleweight with a serious amateur pedigree. Grajeda boasts wins over the likes of Jesse Vargas and Kevin Bezier with headgear, and his only professional losses are to contenders Jermell Charlo and Willie Nelson and the tricky veteran Pablo Munguia. Assuming he wins, with the help of Al Heyman, Trout could easily be thrown right back into the world title picture against Cornelius Bundridge or against Demetrius Andrade. The co-feature will pit former light heavyweight champion Antonio Tarver against Jonathan Banks in a true last-chance heavyweight affair. At the age of 46, Tarver cannot afford a loss if he wants to continue chasing his dream of a heavyweight title shot. After testing positive for steroids following his draw with Latif Coyote, Tarver has become persona non grata at Showtime, making it tough for him to find U.S. TV time. Nonetheless, he too is a Heyman client and still a big name, so options in Europe and potentially on NBC remain quite plentiful. Banks, meanwhile, is still a fringe contender who's holding on after a puzzling loss in a rematch with Seth Mitchell last year. His ceiling can only be so high, though, as he is still the trainer of heavyweight champ Vladimir Klitschko, so he's effectively fighting for the love of the game and possibly a fringe title not held by his own fighter. Thursday's card will also be rounded out by a WBA interim super bantamweight title bout between Canada's own Tyson Cave and Oscar Escandón, as well as a step-up fight for 2012 Olympian Marcus Brown as he takes on Henry Buchanan. Off TV, for the live audience, Sergio Mora, Rico Ramos, Terrell Gaucher, Gerald Washington, and Dominic Breazeale will all stay busy as well. The action gets underway at 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN2 in the United States and on TSN in Canada.